This story is told in the perspective of a female. This took place in the spring of 2016 in my freshman year of high school when I was around 14 or so. Around this time was the peak of the whole infamous clown sighting epidemic that spread around like wildfire. These events blew up on social media that got the attention of everyone. If you were a teen or in school around that time, you definitely know what I'm talking about. Long story short, it was the next big thing that just never went away. In my mind, I had thought that it wasn't as serious as some people thought, but little did I know, I was beyond wrong. To be exact, this happened on March 25th of 2016, where I was in my last period of the day. If I remember, I was in history class and we had just finished up an assignment on the Titanic and the history of it. At one point, I asked my teacher if I could use the restroom for a minute since I had completed the project early. Being the sweet and charming teacher she was, she said yes and gave me the pass. The restroom near my class was being cleaned, so I had to use the one on the other side of the building. As I'm making my way over to the other hallway, I look down the hall and see, out of all things, a person dressed in a clown costume. My initial thought was that it was probably just someone doing a prank because of the trend. I must say, the costume appeared very realistic in detail, even if it was a joke. Needless to say, however, it creeped me the hell out. I give a quick nod to the clown as I entered the girls' restroom, not thinking too much of it. As I'm doing my business, I hear the PA turn on in the hall and inform everyone that we were on lockdown. My heart sank into the pit of my stomach as I heard this, and knew right then that it had to be because of the clown. That being said, I pull up my pants and, as I look up, I see the clown's head peeking in above the stall. I let out what was probably the loudest scream I've ever done as I pushed open the door. The person in the clown costume obviously fell to the ground as I ran out of the bathroom. I ran straight to my teacher's room, practically begging for her to unlock the door so I could get in. However, I knew she couldn't, as there was also a chance whoever that was would get in too. She told me from the other side of the door that I had to run and hide somewhere safe. I ended up running out of the hall and ran inside some electrical room that happened to be unlocked. The sound of a machine humming could be heard, so I figured that it would make it seem less likely that I was here. Suddenly, I then hear several sets of footsteps enter the building yelling police. I look through the vent on the door and see about 10 or so officers and a few SWAT guards surrounding the area. I felt safe, but I didn't want to come out with the possibility of startling them. 10 minutes go by, and I see them walk out of the building with 2 clowns in handcuffs, one of them being the one I saw. The other one had this sort of samurai machete thing that was in fact real. Turns out, these 2 clowns actually went to my school, but had gotten suspended for their behavior. They then went on to say that it was just for the trend, and that they didn't intend to actually harm anyone. However, police weren't buying it and arrested them no matter what the intentions were. After that, I eventually came out of the room and walked over to them to explain what had happened. They brought me into the main office, where I was with a faculty member until my parents arrived. As far as I know, those 2 boys were expelled from school and had served months in jail as they were 18. My parents ended up moving me to another school after that, and ever since then, I've always developed a fear of clowns. It took nearly half a year for the whole clown trend to die down. To be honest, I had never really understood the hype around it. Even with that whole situation, I still heard of many reports of people encountering clowns and almost getting hurt. Thankfully, nothing like that has ever happened again.